आपके लिए तो बहुत सारे रास्ते खुले हुए हैं। आप जुडिशरी में जा सकते हैं, आप सरकारी वकील बन सकते हैं, और हिंदुस्तान में तो नेता बहुत हुए हैं एडवोकेट्स, तो नेता, अच्छे नेता बन सकते हो आप। तो मैं यही कहूँगा कि इस प्रोफेशन की गरिमा को बनाए रखें और आपके उज्जवल भविष्य की मैं कामना करता हूँ। एक बार फिर आपको बहुत बहुत मुबारक हो।
Now we also have with us on the stage Shri Rajkumar Chauhan ji, who is the member of the Bar Council and who is the member of the Enrolment Committee and who is the former president of the Karnal Bar Association. The Enrolment Committee is the main committee behind this function, is the main committee behind you getting your licenses today, you getting your identity cards today. So you can all thank him after the function ends. So I'll request Mr. Chauhan to come and address.
All the respected new entrants of this profession, मैं सबसे पहले अपनी तरफ से, बार काउंसिल की तरफ से आप सबका स्वागत करता हूँ। आप इस प्रोफेशन को ज्वाइन करने जा रहे हो और आफ्टर 1 आवर्स जब आपको लाइसेंस मिल जाएगा, आप एडवोकेट बन जाओगे अंडर द एडवोकेट एक्ट। आपने देखा ही होगा कि फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग, जब से देश की आज़ादी की लड़ाई शुरू हुई तब से लेकर के आज तक इस देश की पॉलिटिक्स को भी मैक्सिमम एडवोकेट्स ही गवर्न कर रहे हैं। आपने देखा होगा जो फर्स्ट प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया वाज आल्सो एडवोकेट, फर्स्ट प्रेसिडेंट आल्सो एडवोकेट, फर्स्ट होम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया वाज आल्सो एडवोकेट, और एट नाउ देयर आर 6-7 Chief Minister of the different states, they are also from this profession. मैं आपसे यही कहूँगा कि इस प्रोफेशन की जैसे नोबल प्रोफेशन है और आज सोसाइटी को भी आप अपनी को लीड करते हो। सबसे पहले तो ये आप जब भी आज के बाद आप समाज में कहीं भी जाओगे, आप किसी फंक्शन में जाओगे या किसी आप इवन के आप डॉक्टर्स के पास भी जाओगे, तो साहब तो आज से आपके नाम के सामने लग ही गया है। आपको सभी वकील साहब के नाम से एड्रेस करेंगे। अब तक आप सिंपली जो भी था आपके नाम से एड्रेस करते थे। सो आई रिक्वेस्ट यू ऑल, डू हार्ड वर्क एंड गो अहेड। ओनली द स्काई इज द लिमिट फॉर दिस प्रोफेशन। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
On behalf of the Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana, we have within us today our chief guest, the Honorable Mrs. Justice Ritu Bahri, Judge Punjab and Haryana High Court. We also have with us our Chairman, Shri Harpreet Singh Brad, our Vice Chairman, Shri Gurteej Singh Garewal ji, Shri Vijender Singh Alawat ji, our former Chairman and Member Bar Council, Shri Karanjit Singh ji, our Member Bar Council, Shri Surendra Sharma ji, Member Bar Council, and Shri Rajkumar Chauhan ji, Member Bar Council and also Member of the Enrolment Committee. I request Mr. Sharma, Mr. Chauhan and Mr. Garewal to present a bouquet on behalf of the Bar Council to the Honorable Chief Guest.
Honorable Justice Ritu Bahri ji, office bearers, members of the Bar Council and my dear friends, it is indeed my proud privilege to welcome Honorable Justice Ritu Bahri ji. My Lords was born in Jalandhar, did her schooling from Carmel Convent, passed out in economic honors and got first division in law, and she belonged to a very renowned and illustrious family of lawyers and judges. My Lord's great-grandfather, the grandfather, father, they all were very successful lawyers. And my Lord's father served as a judge of this Honorable High Court, and you are very lucky and privileged to receive your enrollment certificates from such a legal luminary and legend. My Lord is one of the most erudite judge, and she has always humanized the law and illuminized the justice. She is blessed with the best qualities of head and heart and the court atmosphere, and my Lord's court is always very attentive and affable, especially the younger lot gets lot of patient and encouragement hearing. I, on behalf of the entire Bar Council, welcome Honorable Justice Ritu Bahri ji. And my dear friends, you are entering into a profession which was on the vanguard of the freedom struggle. The first Prime Minister, the first President, the father of the nation were all lawyers. So you must keep this in your mind. You are not ordinary citizens. The duty to vindicate the Constitution, uphold the law lies on you, and it is one of the greatest privileges to be called upon to defend someone's right and liberties. So you have to lead by example in society. You have to be very dignified. You have to maintain the dignity of the profession. You have to follow the traffic rules, rule of law. And this is one profession which has complete meritocracy. The hard work and integrity is the hallmark. Once you start this profession, someone in your class may have a certain advantage over you. Maybe his father was a very successful lawyer. But if you preserve your energies, do hard work, and be patient, you can overcome that advantage in few years. Now this is a profession by choice. In our times, all the intelligent ones used to opt for medical or non-medical, and it's very heartening to see so many girls entering the profession, and that is the reason I requested Honorable Justice Ritu Bahri ji to be today's chief guest. So this profession is the true example of women emancipation in the country, and our High Court has the maximum number of women judges on the bench, and we wish it grows further. I would not take much time because I will leave you to be encouraged and by the Honorable Chief Guest. I end up by saying what our Father of Nation has said about the law. I quote, "The law is not a legerdemain to turn black into white and white into black. It is a constant endeavor to enthrone justice." I unquote. So my dear friends, the onerous duty to enthrone justice lies on your shoulders. You will be wearing the robes of honor, and this is the only profession where you will earn while you will learn. Thank you very much.
Now, in furtherance of the function, I'll request the Honorable Chief Guest to grace the podium and address the audience.
Good morning to everybody, and I'm very happy I've been invited here today to meet the young future generation lawyers who have taken a step to enter this profession. And I relate back to the day when I was enrolled as a lawyer. That was I did my law in '85, I can share with you, and I joined the profession in '86. Now there was one small reason for not joining for a year, because it was a profession which required a lot of giving time in the courts, in the evening in the office. My grandmother and my mother thought that it's better you go for teaching line. So I thought I can't teach, but I will not do I'll do whatever suits my mind. So it took a year for me to join the profession. So I joined in '86, but I don't think so. After so many years, women have to wait like that. They're all here present today, immediately after getting their degrees. And I can say after so many years now, women are equal to any other, they take part in this profession equally now. So I'm very happy to see that. So when we had joined, I took a year. It takes time, but then the most important thing which is important is do whatever you want to do. It may take time, but when you join a profession, give it a go, whether you want to go for judicial services or whether you want to come to the courts for practicing law. but do whatever suits your mind. Reason being that profession is going to be not easy. It can be boring, then leave it. I can say my child is also there who's done law. If you like something, do something because you feel it, you're passionate about it. The only reason is if you're passionate about your work, you will never pity yourself. Because hard work is required. You may have got 80% in law, but when you start working as a lawyer, you start from zero again. You have to learn from your seniors. This is a very important thing. A person who joins, you may have made very good number of projects. You may have taken part in any other extracurricular activities. But the moment you enter the profession as a lawyer, you have to look up to your senior for his habits, the way he prepares his files, the way he prepares his cases, the way he presents himself before the court, his etiquette, manners. This is the first thing I would like to advise all the young lawyers who are going to join the profession. So your marks are one part of the thing, your behavior and how you look up to your seniors who spend good quality time in profession is a very important basics for learning how to grow in this profession. And it may be tough for some people, it may be easy, but if you are passionate about it, you will never regret spending hours on working. So you have to make a choice, individual choice, what you like to do. The moment you feel you don't like this side of the profession, you want to go for judiciary examination, leave it and go. But the first thing is you have to decide what you want to do. Another thing which I can share with you all is that when I was born, I didn't see my grandfather, though even my great-grandfather was a lawyer, but I didn't see them, I didn't meet them. So that's a legend. I mean, we do see what they had done, but in real life, when you enter a school, a college, or a profession, you go alone. Nobody accompanies you. Yes, you get good advice how you should prepare, but ultimately you go alone, you learn from people around you, and for that purpose, your seniors and even young lawyers, when we sit in court, if a person is well prepared, a young lawyer, he saves the time of the court and he does good for his litigant. A litigant depends upon you entirely. A litigant can be a weaker section person, a litigant can be an aspiring doctor, a litigant can be an engineer, he's seeking admission in a course. A litigant can be a person who's bought a house, not been given by the builder. A litigant can be from all walks of life. So you are lucky, you're going to represent society, people walking from all walks of society. The weaker section, of course, is the most sensitive situation where when we read the newspapers, the top news is given to the weaker section. Somebody has been raped, some child has been abducted. That is one part of society to which you will be exposed immensely. And as young generation, I can say you can do lots. For the weaker section, you can work because you are young, you have the stamina, you can run around. Apart from doing legal work, you can do lots because you will get practical knowledge of how society is working and how society is growing. So that is, I would like to encourage that all the young lawyers to join the profession, they should be ready for a good start, a good kickstart with this license, and just enjoy what you do. And never, when you have to work hard. And another thing which is very important is, as a lawyer, if you are given something tough to do, that will teach you better rather than taking things easy. So as a young professional, you should put in your best and then enjoy your life. So all the best to you. I don't think so much is required to be lectured to the young generation, and I wish all of you good luck. Yes. Now when I start reading the oath, you will have to repeat it in loud voice so that you are committed to the profession, and then you will get your licenses. So we start now. I do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the legal profession and will uphold its dignity and integrity. I will faithfully and consciously discharge my duties as a lawyer and will not do anything which may lower down the image and dignity of the lawyer's profession. That's all. All the best.
I request our chairman, Shri Vijender Singh Alawat ji, Shri Karanjit ji to give a memento on behalf of the Bar Council as a token of gratitude and immense respect to the Honorable Chief Guest.
ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਜੱਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਣੇ ਹੈਕਟਿਕ ਸ਼ਡਿਊਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਾਂ ਕਿ ਛੁੱਟੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਦਿਨ ਕਦੇ-ਕਦੇ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਬੜੇ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਤੇ ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੀਮਤੀ ਸਮਾਂ ਕੱਢਣ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਵਾਰ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਆਉਣ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਰ ਕਮਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਐਨਰੋਲਮੈਂਟ ਸਰਟੀਫਿਕੇਟ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰੀਬਿਊਟ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਮੈਂ ਜੱਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਹੀ ਬਾਰ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਐਂਡ ਨਿਊ ਐਂਟਰੈਂਟਸ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਕੱਢਿਆ। ਅੱਜ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਉਣ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫੇਰ ਹਾਰਦਿਕ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ, ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਜੱਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੜਾ ਨਾਈਸ ਵਰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਐਡਵਾਈਸ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਫੇਸ ਹੋਣੀ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਗਰੂਕ ਕੀਤਾ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਦੀ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।
Thank you, sir. I request the Honorable Chief Guest to come in front of the dais and the Honorable members also.
Miss Monica from Chandigarh, Mr. Inderjeet Singh from Patiala, Mr. Vijay Pal from Panchkula, Mr. Kuldeep Kumar from Chandigarh, Mr. Varinder Kumar from Ludhiana, Mr. Harpreet Kumar from Faridkot, Miss Maya Devi from Patiala, Mr. Hardeep Batra from Phagwara, Miss Sapna Tandon from Jalandhar, Mr. Ashwini Kumar from Nabha, Mr. Gaurav Chaudhary from Patiala, Mr. Sunil Monga from Rewari, Mr. Kuljit from Faridkot, Mr. Naveen Narwal from Karnal, Mr. Gaurav Chaudhary from Panipat, Mr. Satbir Singh from Gurgaon, Miss Balwinder Kaur from Jalandhar, Miss Sukhwinder Kaur from Bathinda, Miss Amandeep Kaur from Jalandhar, Miss Kamyana Kapoor from Patiala, Miss Inderjeet Kaur from Chandigarh, Miss Sapna Bansal from Barnala, Mr. Avinash Kumar from Amlo, Miss Preeti Goyal from Pataudi, Gagandeep from Jalandhar, Mr. Vikram Sethi from Abor, Mr. Vinay Garg from Hisar, Miss Ravinder Kaur from Amritsar, Mr. Rajiv Gupta from Panchkula, Mr. Vimal Kumar from Hisar, Mr. Tarun Dang from Nabha, Mr. Ishu Sharma from Rewari, Miss Amarjit Kaur from Patiala, Miss Sukhpreet Kaur from Faridkot, Mr. Ravi Kumar from Jalandhar, Mr. Sandeep Singh from Rohtak, Mr. Ram Singh from Patiala, Miss Ramanjit Kaur from Jalandhar, Mr. Vinay from Rohtak, Mr. Mahinder Moore from Hisar, Miss Davinder Kaur from Amritsar, Mr. Rohit Sethi from Hoshiarpur, Mr. Devesh Kumar from Rewari, Mr. Vivek Vikas Singh from Chandigarh,
Mr. Amardeep Singh from Kapurthala, Mr. Narpal from Rewari, Mr. Ritesh Sharma from Bhiwani, Miss Hina Rani from Jalandhar, Miss Sujata from Faridabad, Mr. Dilpreet Singh from Gurdaspur, Mr. Navjot Singh Siddharth from Chandigarh, Mr. Jaskir Singh from Muxar, Ms. Renu from Faridkot, Ms. Jasmeen Kaur from Patiala, Mr. Rohit Kumar from Chandigarh, Ms. Manita Rani from Sirsa, Mr. Deepak Bansal from Panipat, Mr. Shrikant from Charkhi Dadri, Mr. Bobby from Ludhiana, Mr. Manvinder Singh from Ludhiana, Mr. Saurabh Sharma from Bahadurgarh, Mr. Amanpreet Singh from Khanna, Mr. Lakhvinder Singh from Ludhiana, Mr. Sandeep Singh from Muxar, Mr. Gagan Sapra from Flor, Mr. Lavdeep Kaur from Ambala, Mr. Gagan Sagar from Flor, Mr. Manish Dutt from Patiala, Mr. Banu Bhardwaj from Nawashahar, Mr. Harish Sharma from Amritsar, Mr. Daler Singh from Patiala, Ms. Sukhvinder Kaur from Amritsar, Mr. Sachin Sharma from Kapurthala, Mr. Vivek Mahajan from Amritsar, Mr. Ankur from Faridabad, Mr. Sivaranjit Singh from Ludhiana, Ms. Ramanjit Kaur from Kapurthala, Mr. Harsimran Veer Singh from Amritsar, Mr. Harpreet Singh from Gurdaspur, Ms. Dimple from Jalandhar, Mr. Amit Datta from Chandigarh, Mr. Daman Mattu from Amritsar, Mr. Arun Lahoria from Amritsar, Mr. Lakhbir Singh from Gurdaspur, Ms. Nitika Takkar from Rewari, Ms. Sukhbir Kaur from Patiala, Mr. Prabjot Sidhu from Philor, Mr. Jagdeep Singh from Tarantar, Mr. Rohit Kumar from Amritsar, Mr. Ashwini Garg from Barnala, Mr. Pritam Singh from Sangrur, Mr. Rishabh Sharma from Patiala, Ms. Ekjot Sani from Chandigarh, Ms. Marvi Shingari from Amritsar, Ms. Manpreet Kaur from Amritsar, Mr. Shivam Sethi from Amritsar, Ms. Tanveer Kaur from Jalandhar, Mr. Puneet Garg from Chandigarh, Mr. Mandeep Singh from Sangrur, Ms. Ruby from Jalandhar, Mr. Varinder Pal Singh from Faridkot, Mr. Parveen Singh from Nawashahar, Mr. Rajveer Singh from Gurdaspur, Mr. Akanksha Sharma from Kapurthala, Mr. Naveen from Rohtak, Mr. Gagandeep Soni from Jalandhar, Ms. Ruhi from Jalandhar, Ms. Gurpreet Kaur Walia from Fatehgarh Sahib, Ms. Dalwinder Kaur from Hoshiarpur, Mr. Shubham from Chandigarh, Mr. Abhishek Mittal from Chandigarh, Mr. Tushal Kumar from Sangrur, Ms. Vidhu Malik from Karnal, Ms. Ashminder Kaur from Amritsar, Mr. Deepak Kumar from Jalandhar, Ms. Hema Singh, Mr. Ravi from Rohtak, Ms. Kulveer Kaur from Chandigarh, Ms. Arshdeep Kaur from Sangrur, Ms. Sanju from Rewari, Mr. Diwan from Ropar, Mr. Miss Inderjit Kaur from Chandigarh, Miss Mamta Arora from Chandigarh, Mr. Shubham Rohela from Amritsar, Miss Simran from Amritsar, Miss Anjali from Jalandhar, Miss Sukhbir Kaur from Bathinda, Mr. Amrinder Singh from Sangrur, Mr. Harkirat Singh from Amritsar, Mr. Karan Gaba from Patiala,
आपको मिला है नंबर है क्लिक कर लीजिए नहीं नंबर अच्छा नंबर है आपके पता नहीं किसकी गाड़ी
Mr. Simrandeep Singh from Kapurthala, Miss Viveka Jakhad from Kapurthala, Mr. Rahul Bansal from Chandigarh, Mr. Akshay Goyal from Patiala, Mr. Rohit Garg from Hisar, Miss Vaishali from Jalandhar, Mr. Sahil Deswal from Panipat, Mr. Hartesh Goyal from Chandigarh, Mr. Simranjeet Singh from Jeend, Mr. Vivek Kumar from Jalandhar, Miss Tanu Garg from Moga, Miss Alisha Arora from Amritsar, Miss Preeti Yadav from Rewari, Mr. Manveer from Mohali, Miss Anjali Rana from Mohali, Mr. Ankit from Rohtak, Miss Pratibha Chauhan from Chandigarh, Mr. Amandeep Singh from Fatehgarh Sahib,
आगे चले यार मजाक
Mr. Dinesh Kumar from Ludhiana,
जा चले यार नहीं तो पता लगे बोल और तू चले और आगे पता लगूंगा और बोल दिया
Miss Savita Devi from Jalandhar, Mr. Harmanjeet Singh from Patiala,
हरजीत हरजीत और सुना 4 बारी 0 वही चला मेरा फ्रेंड उसका भी नाम नहीं बोला हाँ आप आगे चले जाओ उसके साथ वो फ्रंट पे जा रहा है आई थिंक यू कैन गो बाय गो विद हिम विवेक जी
Miss Shikha Arora from Mohali, Miss Payal from Mohali, Mr. Vedbrat Arya from Karnal,
फ्रेंड ही बनाऊंगा बेटा लगा लेंगे
वैसे दूर रहना
खड़ा कैमरा खोल के बैठा देगा देख फिर तो प्यारी है नहीं सकता ऐसा हो गया किधर कर हो गया तो दूर है ये नहीं सट गई कमर क्या ना अभी
Mr. Vedwar from Rohtak, Miss Neelam Rani from Mohali, Mr. Vivek from Sirsa, Mr. Rinku Kapoor from Ludhiana, Miss Nirmala Devi from Amritsar, Mr. Ashish from Jeet, Mr. Vinod Kumar from Rewadi, Miss Kamaljeet from Jalandhar, Mr. Vivek Kaushik from Rohtak, Mr. Rajan Deep Singh from Amritsar, Mr. Jagmeet Singh Tillo from Amritsar, Miss Ekam Karot from Chandigarh, Mr. Lalit Mohan from Chandigarh, Miss Palak Chawla from Amritsar, Mr. Dilpreet Singh Gill from Ludhiana. Mr. Deepak Girotra from Chandigarh, Miss Shakshi Jain from Chandigarh, Mr. Mohammad Sajid from Jalandhar, Miss Kavita Pal from Panchkula, Miss Pardeep Kaur from Jalandhar, Miss Manandarjit Kaur from Jalandhar, Mr. Kanwar Pal Singh from Muktsar, Mr. Rajan Narendra Singh from Amritsar, Miss Lavpreet Kaur from Chandigarh, Miss Pooja Lalwani from Ludhiana, Mr. Shubham Batra from Jalandhar, Mr. Pars Nanda from Amritsar, Mr. Gaurav Chopra from Jalandhar, Mr. Arun Kumar from Kurukshetra, Miss Devika from Patiala, Miss Manpreet Bhatia from Amritsar, Mr. Ravi from Rohtak, Mr. Rahul Kumar from Kurukshetra, Mr. Miss Harmanpreet Kaur from Patiala, Mr. Gaurav Kadian from Rohtak, Mr. Karam Singh from Mansa, Miss Khilanpreet Kaur from Gurdaspur, Mr. Milan Manoj Modi from Gurgaon, Mr. Sahil Atwal from Jalandhar, Miss Anjali from Kathal, Miss Vatika Sharma from Chandigarh, Mr. Keshav Singla from Sangrur, Mr. Simranjeet Singh from Jalandhar. Ms. Navjeet Mr. Navjeet Singh from Chandigarh. Ms. Garima from Hisar. Mr. Bishopjeet Singh Brad from Amritsar.
रिटर्न आ रही है
Mr. Ritesh from Rohtak. Prerna Bansal from Chandigarh. Ms. Sania Singla from Chandigarh.
अपना फोन दे जा
Ms. Harpreet Kaur from Jalandhar. Mr. Bharat Kumar from Ludhiana. Mr. Shubham Bahal from Jalandhar. Mr. Mohit Sharma from Chajjar. Mr. Jagmeet Singh from Tarantaran. Ms. Navneet Kaur from Patiala. Ms. Gurpreet Kaur from Sangrur. Ms. Manju Sihag from Hisar. Ms. Manpreet Kaur Chima from Patiala. Ms. Vanita Kumari from Ludhiana. Ms. Vandana Singh from Bhiwani. Ms. Priti Mohan from Ambala. Ms. Dipanshu from Rohtak. Ms. Tania from Jalandhar. Mr. Gaurav from Jalandhar. Ms. Ranjit Kaur from Amritsar. Mr. Mukesh Kumar Vasisht from Chandigarh. Mr. Dheeraj from Palwal. Ms. Dapinder Kaur from Patiala. Ms. Prachi Gupta from Patiala. Ms. Sukhdeep Kaur from Bathinda. Mr. Nakul Chibbard from Patiala. Mr. Sahil Sahota from Jalandhar. Mr. Niraj from Rohtak. Mr. Krishan Pal from Kurukshetra. Ms. Sarolin Kaur from Jalandhar. Mr. Sahil Khandwati from Chandigarh. Mr. Radhe Sharma from Faridabad. Moon Kapoor from Amritsar. Miss Anu from Chandigarh. Miss Sunita from Jalandhar. Mr. Naveen Kumar from Rewari. Miss Divya from Faridabad. Kanksha Goyal from Khanna. Miss Prabjot Kaur from Jalandhar. Miss Rashmeet Kaur from Rajpura. Miss Jaskiran Kaur from Mohali. Shanu Sharma from Pathankot. Mr. Gurjant Singh from Amritsar. Mr. Neeraj Bansal from Sangrur. Miss Trisha Kasan from Chandigarh. Ms. Shikha Yadav from Mahindragarh, Ms. Divya Kalsan from Rohtak, Ms. Shreya from Chandigarh, Mr. Kuljit Singh from Chandigarh, Mr. Bahpreet Singh from Chandigarh, Mr. Jitesh Gautam from Jalandhar, Ms. Amaldeep Kaur from Patiala, Mr. Arshpreet Singh from Ambala, Mr. Ankit Kumar from Rewari, Ms. Kamalpreet Kaur from Patiala, Ms. Aditi Chauhan from Rewari, Himanshu from Hisar, Mr. Sachin from Rewari, Mr. Vishavjit Singh from Chandigarh, Mr. Himanshu Chahar from Chajjar, Mr. Raman from Bahadurgarh, Mr. Rohit Baman from Rohtak, it's Amar Lata from Faridabad, Mr. Rakesh Kumar from Sonipat, Ms. Tanya from Gurgaon, Ms. Shweta Rathi from Rohtak, Mr. Rajesh Kumar from Panipat, Mr. Sumit from Rohtak, Mr. Saurabh Ahuja from Ludhiana, Ms. Bhavya Jain from Kathal, Mr. Sunny Singla from Sangrur, Mr. Jagjeet Singh from Fatehgarh Sahib, Ms. Gagandeep Kaur from Amritsar.
5 of the youngest today will get signed copies by the Honorable Chief Guest in the Chairman in the Honorable Chairman.
अगर किसी का नाम नहीं बोला या किसी का नाम अनाउंस उन्होंने सिग्नेचर नहीं किया है रजिस्टर में, वो काइंडली अपना बेसमेंट में जाकर सिग्नेचर कर दें, फाइल निकलवा लें।
बेसमेंट चल बेसमेंट चल वो नहीं होगी, वो तो बेसमेंट हो गया। यार उन्होंने क्या है बेसमेंट तो
Those who have to get their photographs clicked and their name has not been announced, kindly come on the stage also.
व्हाट्सअप कर दोगे थैंक यू
ग्रुप फोटो